My name is Kevin Windsor, and the other voice that you hear is AJ Unitas.
Hello. Hello, I'm AJ, and together, Kevin and I are the co-writers and I guess co-directors of Earthling Cinema, which is now called Aliens Guide, available on YouTube or wherever else you find YouTube videos.
Earthling Cinema, Earthling Television, basically everything in the Earthling cinematic universe is under that umbrella. If you're here listening to this, then you're probably a fan of the show, since I don't see how anybody else would have ever heard of this.
And if you're not, get out.
So thank you so much for watching the show. So we absolutely have a blast writing and making Aliens Guide shows, whatever Earthling it is. So we decided to take a whack at doing some more material in the podcast format and see if we can bring some of that magic from the Aliens Guide show into the podcast studio. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to be talking movies, messing around, and importantly, bringing in friends from the entertainment community to talk with us. And we have a very, very special inaugural guest who I will be introducing.
He's very special.
He is extremely special. It's fair to say that without him, we would not be here.
And to Kevin's point, when we write these Earthlings, we have to turn, like, the script's only 5 pages. We shoot like 5 in a day. So it's like, we have a lot of thoughts about these movies and we can't always put them down. Like the other day we did Black Panther, and something that really jumped out at me, and I was like, we don't have a format to talk about this. He says I never freeze, but then he freezes. They put him in ice. He literally freezes. Like, that guy is like, is that intentional? Is that not? What's going on with that?
Yep.
And this is the format to talk about, only Black Panther stuff.
Stuff that doesn't make it onto the screen. So what we're going to do with this podcast is going to be pretty fun. So each of us here in the studio are going to present a pitch for a new movie. Could be a sequel, could be a movie in a certain theme, and then we're going to develop it together on the fly. And in the end, we're going to pick one that we think works the best, and AJ is going to bring it to a studio, and we're going to get it made, and then we're all going to retire.
That's correct, and it all starts with this episode.
It all starts right here. This could be the last episode of this podcast if we sell the movie.
That's right. All the ideas that come today are all owned by me. So, say whatever you want.
That's legally binding. So
that's right.
We hope you enjoy it, and you should definitely hit us up at info@wisecrack.com and let us know what you think, if you like it, what you want to hear more of, and most importantly, which pitch you like the best, because we definitely want to hear from you about that.
That's right. And so do the movie studios, who are listening as well. Yeah.
I like to call it "You Son of a Pitch," but that is emphatically a working title.
I think so. That's more than working, I think.
Oh, it is working for you.
I like it, yeah.
We're going to get right into it and first introduce our very honored guest. If you haven't already guessed who it is, he's certainly a man who needs no introduction to the fans of our show. He is the one, the only
Mr. Garrick's Wormuloid, Mark Schroeder.
Exactly.
Hello, everybody. It's that's a lot to live up to. That's rough. That's very daunting. Very sweet. Yes, I'm so happy to be here on the first ever episode of the show that shall be named at a later date. I like Son of a Pitch. Son of a Pitch is good.
Nice.
He loves it.
How about Fast Pitch?
Oh, I like that.
Fast pitch. Yeah. I mean, there's probably 9 baseball podcasts that are called that.
You can either make puns about the word bitch or baseball. Either way, equally creative.
Yeah. I agree. If you can get both of them in there, then that's a home run. Ooh.
Oh, God.
This guy's got the jokes today.
Mark, it's so great to have you in here, though.
It's amazing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so much fun to shoot on the set and just do what we do in there, but usually we're working in there and we don't get a lot of a chance to, screw around, and so it's great that we can...
Yeah, finally the opportunity to kind of mess around. Like AJ said, we usually do 4 or 5, sometimes 6 in a day. Yeah. So it's in and kind of right to work. But it's a fun set. But yeah, we don't have time to shoot the breeze like we're doing right now.
Exactly.
We literally will take like a 2-minute. It's like we do we take an hour to do one episode. It's like, okay, let's take 2 minutes. Okay, let's get back into it. Boom, right there.
We trade out, grab a donut. They swap out the DVD in the case, and then back at it.
Time is money.
Time is money. This is Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to do a lot of talking to you, because I'm sure our fans are going to want to know more about you and what you've been doing. So, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, obviously, people know you as Garrick's Wormuloid, but you've done all sorts of different stuff. So
Yeah, I'm an actor in LA, and there are a lot of us, and some you see in the movies, and some you see on stage, and some you see as Garrick's Wormuloid on your laptop. And I moved to LA almost exactly 10 years ago, and I've done a bunch of stuff. Appeared in TV shows. I've done.
You were the killer on.
Oh my, yeah,
yeah.
Just
on
actually
episode-
about to like
on
name
pretty
it.
Yeah.
on
I was the killer on an episode of Criminal Minds
okay.
where I was poisoning people. I was poisoning people to seek vengeance from my parents that were run out of business and led to their untimely death. So I was seeking revenge.
Ironically, this plot will appear on Earth Aliens Guide as well.
Yeah, Aliens Guide.
You were a
we
Criminal
came one
Minds
at the
episode.
same time, different. We totally are different. We're in the
Yeah.
clear.
I've been the killer in Criminal Minds. I've been the red herring in Pretty Little Liars, the person
Okay.
you think might be the killer, and then I've been the person to be killed in the cold open of an episode of Ironside. They brought Ironside back for probably half an episode, and then it was probably canceled halfway through my episode.
Wow.
So when
yeah.
you were playing the decoy in Pretty Little Liars, did they instruct you just look really shifty?
At the very final scene that I had, there's the main character walks away, or one of the four women walks away, and then I have to kind of watch her go, with the promise that he could be up to no good or not. So the look has to imply a bunch of different things, but they all have to be relatively ominous.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Mark, you're from Philadelphia originally.
I am. I'm from the outside the suburbs of Philadelphia, and it's great. It's cold right now. I got a picture. My dad sent me a screenshot of the thermostat where it was 0 degrees yesterday.
Yes.
So I'm not. Yeah, I'm not missing.
And
I
where
miss
is the
that.
best place to get a Philly cheesesteak in LA? There's one right answer. So I've been told in LA. There's one right answer to this.
I would say do booze.
That's what I've heard.
That's the
Yeah,
one you
booze.
Really?
Yeah, I've been there
Booze.
with another person. This Wisecrack conspiracy is Jacob, who is the CEO and co-founder with Jared. And when I first started working for Wisecrack and started taking notes over, we went to booze, and he was like, "This is the best place in LA." to get
Yeah,
Philly
he
cheesesteak."
won't eat it now. He's
yeah.
he's become a vegan.
He's gone to the dark side.
Yep.
Or
LA.
light side if you're into that stuff.
We all become vegans eventually in LA. We're all either pre-vegan or vegan.
Yeah, you're on your path to some sort of dietary morphing into something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Enlightenment.
So yeah, it's great. On your IMDb page, you see screenshots from your roles, and then just like roll, and you're looking great, looking clean, and then there's Garrick's Wormuloid.
Yeah, I think for a while my IMDb picture, my thumbnail was just Garrick's Wormuloid. Because why not?
Yeah,
It's obviously the most interesting and captivating thing to look at. Those eyebrows jump right out. I keep wanting to be him for Halloween, and I don't do it. I have a shirt with me as Garrick's on it.
Right.
I should wear that more. I should wear it more often and see how many people make the up and down connection between the guy without the eyebrows in the shirt and then the huge eyebrows on his chest.
I really wish you would do that and let us know how it turns out.
and see how long I'll stand at a bus stop all afternoon and see what kind of feedback I
Karen?
get.
I've been Garrick's Wormuloid for I think like 3.5, maybe 4 years.
That sounds about right. I don't
Wow.
remember, but yeah, it feels about right.
And we just got through
been a while.
the 100th episode
Wow.
recently, and we're shooting again in just a couple weeks, so
Mhm.
we're going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, when I watch the early episodes, like I definitely see sort of a different vibe for Garrick's. Like, are you aware of how that character has sort of evolved on screen?
I think he's become more human and relatable. I think the human side of him, the human characteristics that he has, have bubbled more to the surface. I think probably if you look back at the ones in the beginning, and I don't remember as strongly, but I would imagine they're probably more locked into the character that we had created at the start. That's a little bit more stoic, a little bit more like staccato, maybe
Right.
staccato,
Egos.
but there's a little bit, yeah, there's more malapropisms and getting words wrong and stuff. But I think over time, I think the jokes and the humanity, I think, might have bubbled the top, or what the audience responded to, made him a little bit more relatable and a little bit more, dare I say, human, maybe. But
Would he approve of such a comment?
no, he would. I think he has an affinity.
Human is
he has an
terrible, yeah.
affinity for the human race, but it's beneath him. It's definitely very beneath him. But I would say rather than human, because it's the only thing we really know as far as relatable, intelligent life. to us, so it might not be the best word for him. He might just call it social.
Right,
He's
sure.
become much more social as he's gotten used to the format in the show.
I also buy that, like, him kind of learning about the human race and how terrible we are has seeped into his own life. Like, I'm sure he was happily married before he started this, and then he, watched, Requiem for a Dream, and now, everything's kind of shattered. Yeah,
That's an interesting idea. Is he polluting his future civilization with these artifacts of humanity?
Too much television.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Too much TV can ruin you.
It'll rot your brain whether you're an advanced civilization of aliens or not.
Yeah. I mean, we just re-released Doctor Strange because we've been doing that on the channel. We've been re-releasing old episodes with these new sort of like preambles. And so, are you a fan of Doctor Strange? Are you a Marvel fan? Mark?
I'm a fan of the movie. I like the movie. The character I don't know much about.
Oh, but one of the best lines is he's like, "I've come to bargain, Dormammu," and like the top comment's like, "I've come to bargain, Dormammu," and it's like Garrick's like to his like divorce attorney or whatever, or going into a divorce. It's like I love that we've created a character that like people are like, "This is the lore. He's divorced." Like that's it.
People are extremely interested in the marital status and other relationships of Garrick's, and I mean, we certainly respond to that kind of interest. And that's, I think, a reason why, at least in like maybe the last 20 episodes or so, we've sort of been taking some different liberties and like stretching the character out. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what's in store.
It's very interesting to assume what we could reveal about his life because we've built a kind of interesting Bible here for this character. And
It's a good proof of concept, Hollywood.
it's,
Okay.
yeah. And if we wanted to explore his life, we'd have to answer a lot of very basic questions, like what does the lower half of Garrick's look like?
You know what? That is a significant question.
We have no idea.
No one will ever know.
We have no idea.
I'm writing something right now where I have to wrestle with that question actually in a real way, and I'm like, oh, this is a problem. I need to talk to AJ about what Garrick's has downstairs.
Yeah. I mean, we've solved a little bit of the mystery recently. He has lungs where a male testicles should be.
Okay, so we have one piece of the puzzle.
One piece of the puzzle there that he does have lungs in the lower half
right.
region, but we don't know anything else.
Lick my lungs.
Everything else is fair game. We don't know about this.
That is my favorite moment from that episode. Talk a little bit about like UCB, what it is, like what your experience
How'd
is
you get
there,
into that?
'cause-
Yeah, I can start from the very scratch. So UCB stands for the Upright Citizens Brigade, and it's an improv comedy theater in New York and Los Angeles. And I had heard about them for years and years and years. They were founded by Amy Poehler, Matt Besser, Matt Walsh, and Ian Roberts. And they essentially knew or taught or had been influenced by or influenced almost everybody that was making me laugh during my formative years. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. They make me laugh. And they went here. They knew these people. I want to make people laugh. I want to go to this place too. So I started taking improv classes and then just never stopped. It was a fun, amazing community that you fall in love with and you fall in with. And you just keep taking classes and forming teams and groups. And eventually I got on a couple house teams there, improv house team and a sketch house team, and met some of the closest people in my life and my second family.
And you're still performing with some of your teams now, right?
Yeah, I'm still on a team. Private Street, they're my numero uno. You can check us out on the internet, Private Street Comedy. And we do sketches, we write pilots, we do live shows, we do improv. We have been together for about 7 years, and
It's fantastic.
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've been.
That's a family.
Yeah, we're
Like
a total 100% a family.
How much of the cast has remained static over that time?
We started with 7, and then came down to 5. So there haven't been any additions, but a couple people moved on to other things, and we remain the 5. So it's been the 5 of us that are now have been from the very beginning. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's terrific.
it's really cool. And the more I talk to people, and the more I interact with people, it seems like it's an anomaly, which is kind of a bummer because we're lucky that it happens easily for us, that we just sort of fell in together, and you wish that people can find, and you hope that people can find the collaborative forces that help them. If you find it for yourself, that's amazing. But if you seek that out, you hope that you can find it. And we were just lucky, or I feel like we were incredibly lucky to land that. Yeah.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. So we have selected a film to pitch today.
Yeah.
And in terms of the monetary promise, I feel really good about it because the first film was a juggernaut.
Some would say the highest grossing film of all time before Avatar.
Some would say that.
Some
not
would
me.
say that, yeah.
What would you say?
I'm just not willing to commit
How
to
would you
it
bend
right
that?
now.
I'm curious to see how you would bend that fact.
Yeah, let me take that and raise you it. According to the yen.
It depends on what the value of the yen at the moment that.
If you look at the nominal exchange rate, it's actually gone with the wind. Yeah.
So, if you haven't guessed, we are going to be pitching a sequel to the 1997 film Titanic.
Directed by James Cameron, got Leonardo DiCaprio in there, throwing some Kate Winslet, and you got a box office hit.
You got a recipe for box office stew, my friend. Box office stew.
So let's get right into it. We are going to pitch the sequel of this venerable film.
22 years later, we're due.
22 years later, that's right.
We're due for the film.
Maybe the Titanic
22?
22.
21?
So, Mark, you're the guest of honor. Do you want to go first?
I would love to go first because I think mine is tangential, but it's the movie I want to see. So I would love to pave the way, and I'm honored to have the first pitch.
Absolutely.
I would like to do a sequel that is actually following the characters of Cal, played by Billy Zane, who survives the Titanic. We find out that he goes on to suffer big losses in the crash of 29 and then put a pistol in his mouth and kill himself. So we already have the conclusion of Cal's story. We know where it ends.
So you want to show that first?
I would maybe open with that monologue from the Titanic movie, where it's old Rose saying he put a pistol in his mouth that year.
The one part of the Titanic we love the most, the part where they say Cal killed himself. Like, pick up where the fans want to see it.
We
next.
all cheered.
Yeah,
I
we all
would bring
cheered.
Billy Zane back.
Okay.
Yes.
Billy Zane would play Billy Zane, but here's what I would also do: his henchman from the movie. I would open the movie with Billy Zane on the lifeboat, getting away from the sinking Titanic, splashing in the water. What is that? What is that? He looks over. It's his henchman. His henchman survives the Titanic.
Man.
So it's him and his henchman in New York, spinning this epic tale of how they saved so many people, living this lie, becoming these con men in the big city, and then we see what eventually erodes of his confidence, of his ego, of his status, of his wealth, until he eventually puts a gun in his mouth in 1929. I would see Titanic 2, Cal's Revenge.
Cal's Revenge. That'd be because of Calabar's Revenge, the great Halloween Town sequel, starring God knows who, but that guy's a gift to the world.
Do you recall in Titanic, in order to get on the lifeboat, he grabs a little child and says, "Let me on a boat, I have a child."
Yes, he pretends he has to raise that girl, and she is traumatized by the incident, traumatized by the sinking of the Titanic. So she has created this, neurological block where she doesn't even remember her life prior to Titanic.
She thinks that Billy Zane is her father.
She thinks Billy Zane is her real father. It's, the early century. We don't have the psychological assessment skills to diagnose her, to help her at all. So she just grows up thinking she's Billy Zane's daughter. And he uses her to gain higher status in society. He's a widow, makes up a story how his wife died on the Titanic, all the while is seeking Rose, trying to find out if Rose survived, and pursues her.
So he's looking for Rose.
It's more like a Gatsby Daisy sort of situation. We'll see if they meet up, or if it's just sort of, she's just the light in the distance for him that drives him.
So that implies some real feelings on his behalf, or is it really just spite?
I think he genuinely had feelings for her. I think we're going to have to get into that, because it can't just be spite. I think it's going to have to. He's going to have to explore feelings of his own fragility, and find out what it is about this one woman that got away that makes him learn something about himself. And I don't think it's a vengeful thing. Maybe it's not a vengeful thing that he wants to get her back. Maybe it's an understanding. He needs to find her and thank her for awakening him.
Oh man, you're really humanizing this guy.
Here I am just hating this asshole. Now
I want to explore Cal's backstory.
My God.
He did. So at some point, is he going to reveal to the little girl who she actually is
That would probably be the climactic scene. 'Cause
before he shoots himself.
That's his. I think that's the secret he's been trying to keep his entire life, and I think that might be what drives him to pull the trigger.
Oh.
No, it's the
not
stock
financial.
losses.
Maybe stock loss is all material, but I think at that point he's learned enough about himself that the true stock loss for him
Was the
is
stock
the
of his
Dow
daughter.
Jones of his heart. Yeah. So something like the stock of his daughter. Yeah.
Maybe it opens like you think like, oh man, like he died because of the stock market. It's like no, but the secret is he died because of his fake daughter who he used to get off the Titanic.
Why don't we could just do a whole Citizen Kane thing of just like it opens with news reports 1929, like Black Monday or whatever it was. Like, oh, stocks dive and so suicides across the country and Cal, whatever his name is killed. Newspapers spinning at us. It's
Right.
It's a very period film too, so it feels.
And maybe
like,
he says like Rosebud or something like that, and it's like,
Yeah, he
oh,
just says
Rosebud because his
Rose.
rose is like
she wanted it-
Rosebud.
Rose is his buddy now because he understands that
Exactly.
material possessions are bullshit.
What if we went all the way in and he referred to the little girl as the heart of the ocean?
That's the heart. That's
Oh,
his
the
heart.
real heart of
his
the ocean.
Man, that would be. Yeah, I think there's a lot of rich mining that could happen there
Absolutely.
for Cal's character.
But you definitely see like pulling in those sort of thematic elements.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately got to be the redemption of Cal or the exploration of why Cal can't ultimately be redeemed.
Right.
We have to decide which story we're going to tell.
God damn, this is some complex shit.
This
Is
is
a
like
Michael
you're
Corleone
blowing-
Godfather 3.
I
where
know.
it's like
Here I
he's
am thinking
doomed. He
Titanic's a
can't-
pretty decent movie. Now I'm like, no. This is only the beginning. You know.
I'm hastily rewriting my pitch in my mind.
I just like the idea that James Cameron's going to shoot like all the Titanic sequels back to back, like just like he's doing with the Avatar one.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
Yeah. and
Oh,
all
man.
Oh, is that the
3D
excuse
and-
for where the Avatar movies are?
no, that's the truth. They shot like
Is
3 of
anyone
them
out
back
there
to back.
really rattling the fences, wondering where the next Avatar movie is? Is anyone really demanding more? I love seeing those ponytails link up. Where's the next one?
There was something very satisfying about watching the phylotic. Was it a phylotic bond? Never mind.
When he has to go to like
Yeah, the braids
Yeah.
like entwine. It
As
was like,
somebody
oh,
who
that's
loves getting
satisfying.
high and seeing those those most satisfying videos on YouTube of just like
Right.
things just clicking in and
Yeah.
perfectly fitting, I love that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm just
It's
like,
just
it's
yeah.
meant to be. They fit right in. Yeah, that's a nice, warm,
So-
satisfying feeling.
who do you have? Are we going to upgrade the henchman? I don't even remember who played him.
He was a very, it's the sad thing. I don't remember his name, but he's a
I'm gonna
very
look this up.
amazing actor. He's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, which he probably would not prefer to be his #1 credit listed
Well,
on
hey,
Fun
listen,
Podcast.
that's some mailbox money right there.
Actually,
Shows some
Titanic
fun.
is probably the first on his list. He
Yeah, I
was
gotta
in,
think it's Titanic.
Yeah, he was also in My Best Friend is a Vampire, which is
Okay.
a weird 80s movie. That I
Oh,
don't know.
so his name is David Warner.
Okay.
David Warner.
And
yes.
listen, he's still around. He could do
could
this.
still do it. He could
Well,
pick
you
it
know,
up.
they aged down Michael Douglas for like Ant-Man.
Yeah,
they
put
could
a couple
yeah.
dots on somebody's face,
my
and there's
God,
somebody
yeah.
at Skywalker Ranch right now who could make you look like you looked when you were 10.
Yeah.
damn.
So it's easy.
I wish someone could do that for me.
It's, yeah, in life they can just.
It's like, where's
I-
Kevin? Here's a
age you
video.
do.
So this is the guy who eventually locks Jack up.
Locks
in
him up,
the
He handcuffs
sucker
him to the
punches
pipe.
him.
Right.
Yeah, sucker
Yeah.
punches him.
We have something for you. Punch.
Yeah, where he's
Tough
like,
guy.
interesting, the young lady slipped so quickly, and you still
Yeah.
had time to remove your coat and your pants, or yeah, whatever. It's Alan Ray. It was more Alan
Why
Ray.
are your pants off?
Do you expect me to
Jack?
die, Miss
Yeah.
Dawson?
Yeah, he's a Bond villain for sure.
So yeah, I think you got to use that guy, right?
He's got to come
Yeah.
back, and we got to figure out a place for him because he's just two-dimensionally henchman in the first movie. So we
He's-
got to determine where he goes in the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's about him finding his own life. Like the henchman game, at some point, he just becomes a reminder of all the
Right.
bad
maybe
stuff in the past.
maybe
I'm-
he's threatening Cal. He knows the truth. Maybe he's the
he
one
does
person.
know the truth.
I think he would be the one person that knows Cal's secret, and he could bring it all down.
And I think
because
like
he was there.
Saoirse Ronan is in this movie as well. She's a reporter.
Sure.
She's trying to get the truth about what happened to Titanic.
Oh, I love
And
it.
so now they're like, everyone wants to know like who was on the Titanic, what happened, and like they're going after this henchman. He's like, you better not talk to Saoirse Ronan, and she's like, I got to talk to her. I want to tell the story. It's like you better not tell her what happened.
And she's like a 20s
Yeah.
like investigative reporter with the fedora and the press
Right.
ticket in there.
Pack of
Yeah,
cigarettes.
and he's like,
Yeah.
go tell her to like stop looking around, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this, Billy Zane. You're a madman.
Oh wait,
Okay.
Billy Zane is the okay. I thought
I
Billy,
think
we were humanizing Billy Zane. I
Well,
thought
I think
the
it's
henchman
like-
stays the henchman
I
maybe
think the henchman,
or no?
or maybe he's conflicted, and like later on, Billy Zane learns the truth that like he's going about this all wrong. He should admit that he killed several people on the Titanic, and and like should probably come clean about that.
Well, let's see what crimes are they really facing? What are the aside from the fact that this child's parents are dead ultimately,
Right,
and
he killed them.
I guess there is a crime against
Kidnapping.
Didn't he like
kidnap-
shoot
it's
someone as well,
100%
kind of
kidnapping.
randomly? Like he shot. No, that was someone else who shot someone.
that was a deck officer.
That was a deck officer who's like,
yeah.
stay down. He like shot the
Yeah.
guy.
By
and
the
then
way,
he shot himself.
We're assuming, and I don't remember exactly, that the child, he doesn't just like toss the child overboard, does he?
That would be insane if that scene is in the movie. If he drowns a child.
opens up. Yeah.
Well, I do
Somehow-
remember. I think the last we see of him is he's looking.
He's looking
on the
around.
dock. Yeah,
Yeah.
He thinks he's looking around to see Rose alive. The girl's not with him.
Well, it's a pretty high camera angle though, and that
Right.
was a short kid.
yeah, that's true.
So
and she's
kids-
getting checked for
Yeah, measles.
got measles, mumps, and polio
frostbite.
and stuff. Yeah. So I think we can make the logical assumption that
She's
as
in
soon
the
as he walked
picture.
away, they were like, the press rushed up to him like,
Yeah.
cow. Also, this is actually a thing. He's well known.
Yes,
He's already well known.
He's rich enough to buy a diamond that is worth more than the Hope Diamond.
So for him to come back, I think he would have to. I think he has to adopt. I think he's under scrutiny. He's there with the daughter on the dock, and they're like, "Cal, this daughter, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he can't like desert the girl because he's going to look like a monster.
Yeah, but then she's going to know the truth, though. So she
think-
does know the
I
truth,
think she knows the
unless-
truth. Her parents are dead, but she doesn't know he's a monster.
Right.
So he adopts her legally.
Yeah.
For public face because he's the survivor of the Titanic.
Sure.
The story is true that he rescued this girl from
Absolutely.
the Titanic. He can't
Technically,
he can't just give her up to a 1912 foster care system. She'll
Yeah.
be dead in
I
a
saw
month.
I saw Annie.
Yeah,
That's not
exactly. She'll be singing and dancing and coughing and be
Yeah,
dead.
the worst life you can imagine.
It's a hard
Billy
knock
Zane's
life.
like his sister is like Miss Hannigan in this world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. This is actually in the same world.
This
isn't
is
it?
this is like a secret prequel to
I
Annie.
like that
essentially.
kind of
yeah.
tie-in. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's how
I
you
like
get
where we're
butts in
going.
the seats.
Yeah, it's
Of
gotta be,
course.
You
it's
get
gotta
the
be a
musical.
tie-in.
Maybe the whole thing's a musical.
Oh my God! Well, we just went from 40 million opening night to 70 million.
Or we might have gone to an NBC
we might have gone to a live
special. Yeah,
an NBC live of Titanic live the musical.
yeah. We
Remember
might have
Anna
gone-
Paquin from True Blood? Well, now she's in this whatever movie is.
Is that how you say Paquin?
Isn't it right?
I thought it was
Paquin.
Paquin.
Wow, here I am, just a
Yeah,
rude.
dropping names.
Dropping names I don't even know. Yeah, Anna, you're listening. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I'm sure she is listening.
She's gonna take a glove off and touch your skin and take all your power away. That's
Yeah.
her rogue ability.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's had a great career.
Oh my goodness.
It's not over yet.
She's killing it. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, listen, I love this pitch.
I like it
think
too.
is-
What's the title?
Right now we're thinking Cal 2.
Cal's Revenge. Titanic 2.
Cal 2
Cal's
times
Revenge.
Titanic Revenge. Titanic 2, Cal's Revenge. But we're grappling with if it's a revenge story.
I should mention, by the way, just for the listeners who are going to say, there is a Titanic 2, but it's not a sequel to Titanic.
Okay.
It's about a boat called Titanic 2 that follows the same trip as the Titanic, and it's like a low-budget disaster movie.
Oh, and it sinks as well.
I think it does sink, but we're
That's-
gonna.
oh,
Have we
man.
learned
For
nothing?
the purposes of this podcast, that movie doesn't exist.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not a sequel to Titanic anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, we'll hear the pitches and we'll see which one
Which
people
one
prefer.
lands.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Titanic 2 or the next
I think Titanic 2.
the Voyage of the Heart,
Voyage of the Heart.
Ooh,
Titanic 2, Voyage of the Heart.
or just Voyage of the Heart.
yeah.
'Cause I'm-
Parentheses the Titanic.
I think for
story.
marketing reasons, we have to have Titanic 2 in the title.
To make back our money. Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just a
But I
straight
kind of
up
like
Billy
you're kind of like
Zane.
an indie budget for that, Like you get like some period cars, kind of
Yeah.
like Brooklyn,
Yeah,
there you go.
You could actually make it work.
I
Yeah.
think you could.
It could churn a big profit because it'd be done for super cheap. So let's just say Yeah, what was yours about the heart?
Titanic 2: Voyage of the Heart.
Titanic 2: Voyage of the Heart.
It was pretty good.
I love it.
It also sounds like
I
a
love
good ride at Universal. I would ride Titanic Voyage of the Heart. I don't know what that ride is, but I
should pitch
would
that
ride
ride.
that as well. Yeah.
I think it might be one of those.
Check out our theme park
That
podcast.
sounds like it's a Magic School Bus book.
That's what I was thinking, where they go into a
You go
heart
in
and,
through the
like,
ventricles.
yeah,
and-
exactly.
Don't even get
Yeah.
me started. Treehouse, the Magic Treehouse book series. Were you guys too old for that? I don't know.
I think what did the treehouse do?
Oh, these kids that got in a treehouse and they travel into like magical realms. It
Oh.
was incredible. It was
No,
amazing.
I
That should be a
You're
TV
never
show.
too old for
Stuck on
that.
the school bus.
All right, so
man.
pitch number 1. AJ, do you mind if I go next?
Certainly.
Because-
Most certainly. I can't wait for this.
I may get kicked off the show.
Oh, no.
Oh, no,
We'll
in the
see.
first-
The bar's set very high now.
Yeah, it is set high. So, okay, so I decided to do something a little bit different. And right off the bat, I have to say, you mentioned in your pitch, we have to mention Titanic in the marketing, but it's very important that we don't mention it in
Oh.
this. So this is just a movie
It's a
going
secret.
in,
Cool,
just
cool,
a
cool,
movie.
cool.
M. Night Shyamalan
So-
kind of split thing.
So this is a science fiction take, okay? So we open up the film, we're in sort of an underwater society, okay?
Oh.
We've got sort of
Gills?
we don't make a big it's gills. We don't make a big deal about it. It's just
Okay.
this is life under the sea. People going about their business. There's certainly questions about the physiology of these beings, but I'm thinking like sort of a more humanoid version of the Shape of Water creature, but without the retractable super dick. So that's sort of what I have in mind.
I'm out. That was why I was interested in this movie.
Super dick.
It can be in there if you want, but
The
and
director's cut.
incidentally, I was doing some research about it this morning on incognito mode just to make sure that everything's legit. And
Yeah.
I saw a little.
Don't wanna
I saw
alert the
stuff that
authorities.
I didn't need to see it. They can only survive out of water for just a few seconds. So, because they're an underwater society, we don't really know exactly how long
Sure.
they've been there.
You need
but
the water.
so our protagonist is sort of like an entrepreneur kind of guy, but he's down on his luck, sitting in the bar, looking for his like sort of next big move. He doesn't really, he doesn't really know where he's at, but we see he's got the light in his eyes. So he sort of hears a news story or something about like this big find in like a nearby trench. One of those trenches that's located underwater.
Classic underwater trench. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a vessel.
Oh.
The biggest vessel that it's massive, gargantuan.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
You could use a lot of adjectives to
You
describe
could,
it.
but there's certain that we won't
There's
say.
one I'm starting with the T. Titanium, I think. I didn't. Go on.
So he starts to get a great idea. It's an epic journey across the ocean in this refurbished vessel. And he's going to just bill it out with like full luxury, and everybody will be able to like get on board this thing and just travel like in complete style, full service, butlers,
Oh wow.
fiddlers,
Fish butlers.
Great. Underwater fish fiddlers.
fish fiddlers, everything. And we get a big sort of fix up montage where we see people like figuring out how to hoist it back out and like out of the trench, not out of the water.
Right.
No.
Out of
Then
this
sort of
rotted sand.
How are we going to get the propellers back working? And then finally it's together. And then we're training like the fiddlers, we're training the servers, we're like making the beds, and we're getting the staterooms in order, and everything's looking great. And in the course of it, our hero meets, sort of an attractive young
Oh.
Fish person.
fish person who, sort of
A nice tilapia.
She doesn't think much about the project at first. She thinks it's gaudy, like hubris. But
Man should not, or fish man should not do this. Or
Exactly.
Whatever. Us fish god would be angry. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. But she eventually sort of relents and then falls in love with him, and they also both fall in love with a vessel, and it's sort of a nice metaphor there. So the ship gets finished. Everything's great. The propellers fire up, and then they're traveling across the depths of the ocean. And everything's going great until our hero decides to push the envelope, get it going faster, fire up some more propellers. Long story short, the propellers just catapult the ship upwards,
Oh, no.
upwards.
Oh no.
And they breach the surface of the ocean and crash into an outcropping of rock.
Oh no.
And they're stuck above the surface, and now we have carnage. Now we have a tragic scene on board this vessel where we've got people flopping
Flopping
around.
on
Yeah,
the
they need to
deck.
get back in the
trying
water.
to flop
Oh
their
my
way to the
God.
side of the boat, but just can't make it. And most tragic of all, we have our hero, his newfound love in the water, watching as he flops his way
Oh
closer,
my
closer,
God.
Man.
but just can't get there, and then he expires right there on the deck.
Wow.
She swims away, and as she's swimming down, the camera sort of follows her and follows her all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, where we see, as the very last shot, that fucking diamond.
Dear
heart of the
And
ocean.
God.
that's when we learn that we're in the Titanic cinematic universe.
Oh God, yes.
So I have some questions.
I also have a few questions as well.
I can't imagine what questions you would have, but okay.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very good.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm into it.
I'm worried how we will conceal the fact that it's the Titanic if, from your pitch, 70% of the movie is spent fixing up and displaying in full
Ship,
prominence
yeah.
the Titanic.
It's like just the name of the ship is rubbed out. People are like, oh, it's it's all barnacly now. No one knows what this is.
You
I also like the idea there'd have to be skeletons and like dead people.
Oh,
yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
hard.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
let's repair this.
but that would be in the montage. of
Yeah.
cleaning
yeah,
out.
it's like happily like, get rid of the bodies.
Peeling
let's
those
keep going.
two old spooning people up off their bed in E-class.
I think you actually hit upon it. I think some well-placed barnacles could,
Yes.
could really just
Some
there's,
well-placed
there's other
barnacles.
boat movies, and people might suspect, but I mean, we'll just sort of
Well, the trick is they have to put their modifications on it so quickly that we don't recognize
Right.
what it is, and I think
Totally.
we're fine.
Also, it's a shell game. We focus on the love story. We focus on like what is the physiology of these things,
Right.
And then people don't think too much about, oh, this looks familiar to me.
Right.
I also think it's like we don't know what year it is on the surface. It
That's
could be
true.
the year 3000.
True.
This ship is probably like completely destroyed. There's
True.
nothing left. And I think when we get to the surface and they start flailing, we see just like a brief shot of what the hell is on the surface. And we're like, wait a second. Are these people in the ocean what humans have become?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's your like Statue of Liberty moment at the end.
Exactly.
Exactly.
My God, it was the
That's
Titanic
right.
all along.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think
yeah, there you
so.
go.
At the end, after the reveal, people will of course immediately buy another ticket to find all the Easter eggs
Of
that
course,
we
of course they
buried.
will. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know what Easter eggs are there.
Fiddles. There's just a bunch of fiddles.
Fiddles.
Yeah. Looking for those fiddles. Like, oh yeah, that's the fiddle from those people were playing.
the
Oh,
band.
yeah.
There will be a scene where there's sort of a cluster of people with some, polished wood, and it's like, oh, that was the band that bravely went down.
So yeah, hints of things that you're seeing in the wreckage that kind of looks like things from the first movie
Yeah.
that you're like, and then if you went back, you were like,
Once
oh,
it's
I get it.
confirmed, you're like, yeah, that was.
We'd have to have a moment where he has an "I'm the king of the world" like moment that's not too on
Yeah.
the nose, so that kind of parallels.
I mean,
Yeah, it's-
I agree with that.
We've seen so many triumphant people at the, in the crow's nest or on the bow of a ship. You might be able to shoot it in a way that's not like if he doesn't
Down.
put his arms up. I think we might be safe.
What if we just take it all the way down into the galley?
Yes, if
And
he's
he's like,
well, we've already flipped a lot. I like how the climax of it is like an inverse Titanic, where
Yes.
people are dying on the dry deck. I love that.
No,
I
it's
love,
great. No, it's
Yeah,
very
it's like
tragic.
Titanic
yeah.
too. Like this one's
What's
on
the-
land.
Yep.
But another problem I also have is that we can agree there's a ship that's there, but it's also split in half. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just kind of like this ship. Like, okay, how many ships are split in half? that
so
are...
that's a moment for like just technological magic, and we'll need like a magical architect character
Okay.
Oh, great.
who comes in and
Yeah.
like solves everything. Like Donald Glover in what is it, The Martian, where he's like, wait, I know how
Oh,
we're
he's
gonna.
the guy. Yeah,
I know
he's
how
just
we're
the
gonna
dude,
save
yeah.
all the time. We'll whip around the planet like this, and then we'll do this, and in 5 minutes he
Wow.
like solves the whole movie.
He's a genius.
Yeah, we need that
Have
guy.
you heard This Is America?
I have, and
Yeah.
I
Get
That's
that guy on the
amazing.
Titanic, or get that guy,
The guy in the-
underwater. Get that guy in the underwater civilization that's gonna refurbish the Titanic.
Yeah. Oh, for the lead,
Yeah.
I'm thinking we leverage a little bit of underwater stuff, and we use who is it, Jason Momoa?
Really?
Oh,
you could put him
okay.
back in the sea so
Yep.
soon?
He's,
Uh-huh.
he's got it typecast already.
I like. Well,
Well,
his hair
it's-
looks so good. Probably.
got a movie that's
flowing in
underwater?
the-
I'll
It's
do
going to
it.
take a few years to make this. It's a
Technology doesn't quite
And
exist.
especially because James Cameron's going to want to shoot all the sequels to that back to back to back. You know.
Right.
Half your movie probably exists in just the B-roll of Aquaman, though. You could probably just reuse a lot of that footage of the civilization and people. And
Certainly.
Yeah.
Definitely. Julie Andrews should come back again to play a giant fish. Did you guys see Aquaman?
I did not.
Not
And
yet.
That's she plays a giant fish.
we could talk about this for hours, but one of the best kernels of one of the best things is they asked Julie Andrews to come back and do Mary Poppins Returns. And she said, no, I don't. I'm done with that. I don't know if she agrees with the sequel or not, but whatever. And instead decided the same weekend to voice a giant whale. Like, this is like a massive, like, giant whale that's like racist also, like towards Aquaman. He's like, you half-breed, like you mudblood. Like, he's like yelling at like Jason Momoa. And she voices this giant whale creature. This in the same weekend as Mary Poppins Returns. She chose that over, I love that. She's clearly still got it.
Yeah.
That's having your finger on the pulse, right?
Yeah, clearly someone's got a good agent.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that movie made a lot of money, and
Number one grossing DC film now. Beat The Dark Knight.
I just wonder. I'm just so curious. I guess people love underwater.
It'll pop up as soon as it comes out on DVD. We'll probably do an Aliens.
Yeah,
this actually brings up an interesting question for you, Mark. How many of the movies we do for Aliens Guide have you seen? Like, because a lot of times for you guys listening there, like we literally write the scripts, way ahead of time, and sometimes they're a little late. And we, Mark gets the set that morning, and you read the scripts cold, and he's literally able to figure out the beats and the jokes he wants to tell with it, and like the different inflections. Amazing,
right?
But how many of these movies have you seen? Like sometimes you're reading these things, and you're like, I have no idea what this is talking about.
Have you ever not seen one of the movies that you've done?
Yes, that's happened. Not a lot of time. Probably I can count on maybe one hand. Maybe
Spring Breakers.
Happened. I had not seen Spring. Still have not seen
Old
Spring
Boy?
Breakers. I have seen Old Boy.
Akira.
Akira was another one that I had not seen. Yeah. So it's actually Akira was one that really sticks out because to describe the plot of Akira, having never seen it, is outrageous.
It's interesting, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's nothing better than like describing the plot of Akira than to make you want to see Akira. That being said, I still have not seen Akira.
Yeah, neither have I. And just for the fans who might not know this, the way it sort of splits up is I will write essentially the second half of the episode like pretty straight ahead, maybe a couple pitches of jokes, and then but it's in Garrix's voice, and then that goes to AJ, who writes the whole first half, like the summary of the movie, and then Garrixifies the second half of the episode, and then we convene and we sort of shine the whole thing up and reconcile any like.
Because sometimes there's a joke and you're like, that's a funny idea for a joke, but is it like going to muddy up what we're actually trying to say about the film?
Right.
Because it's like edu funny, you have to educate.
Yeah.
You
have to make sure that, because I think the analysis is definitely important. I think there's one thing we learned with MoviePass is that the humor alone is not like sufficient.
Yeah, we didn't. That episode, I mean, it was our first attempt. We've done all these episodes of movies analysis and jokes, but it was like, let's try to do other things. And we said, like, let's just do jokes. And people were like, this is a crazy ad for MoviePass. I'm like, I don't think MoviePass let us say, like, what were some jokes, like let us do a cocaine joke or something.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think this is an ad for? But then again, maybe MoviePass is desperate
honestly,
enough to do it.
We don't know about the choices those guys make.
We
but
really don't.
The Akira episode was so old that like it was even before my time. It was like over 3 years ago that was made.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to think back on the amount of time that's passed. Yeah, but I have just naturally seen. I would call myself a film buff. Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies numerous times, and I think the sweet spot for the movies that we choose for Earthling or that are chosen for Earthling, I think, are right in my wheelhouse. I think I have a natural interest and proclivity towards the movies that the fan base and the demographic and Wisecrack wants to cover.
Yeah.
So there's just a big Venn diagram crossover there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my pitch, I think we've, that's something we could bring to a studio.
I think for sure.
Right now, I'm like going to make a couple calls after this to,
title wise, I think it can't be anything with Titanic in it, of course, because that M. Night Shyamalan moment at the end, I think is crucial. That's how you get butts in the seats.
That is huge. Yeah.
That's right. I don't even know what you'd call that. Maybe like Big Ship.
The fin diagram. No. The fin something project maybe.
The Passage.
The Passage.
Passage is good.
Because they're trying to take that trip they want.
I like that.
Yeah, I need a little bit more about this guy and why the refurbishing of the ship and sailing the ship is his redemption. Like why? How
I think
this-
he's like an out-of-work construction worker.
and I think
Who's,
that
you know,
will-
got a
title
son who
come
needs
out of
something to
that.
look up to. He's like, Daddy's gonna build this. Daddy's gonna make this ship come back to life.
Right. He's.
Oh, it's a promise to his kids.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Is it like the promise? Is something very vague, like the promise or the oath or something?
You
Like-
mean that this whole passage, like his children always wanted to see the great wide open sea, or they really like boats?
I think his dad, you know, he's like, you're just a construction worker, Dad. You'll never build anything. Like, you'll never amount to anything. Like his dad, like they come from this like they don't graduate from high school. They're this kind of family where they're like kind of in the bad part of the ocean.
Right.
And yeah, this ship.
The
He's
wrong
like,
side of the
it's kind of
coral.
like it's. I think honestly, there's only one man who can play. It's Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's this fish who wants to
Playing,
rebuild.
So
this
we're gonna take
Field
him
of
back
Dreams.
into
Yeah,
the-
exactly. It's kind of like Field of Dreams. Yeah.
I think he might be
No,
the.
no,
you
no.
mailed the
He's,
shit.
he's replaying his character from Waterworld. He would
Yeah.
play the same
That's-
guy
Oh, yeah.
from
That's who
Waterworld.
he is.
That's right. Yeah. Find
would
dry
play
land.
His
Maybe
fish man.
Maybe he's
Fish
the
man.
father. I feel like he may have more miles on him than you realize.
Oh, yeah?
I think he may be the father of our hero who.
He does have it. Yeah, he might have to pull the
Yeah.
Kent, Pa Kent role that he pulled in Man of Steel. And,
Exactly.
Like,
He's so
die
good at
in
that.
the
God,
is
second
it
act to
possible?
spurn on. Them.
Are there any new roles, or is everything just
Once
a
you
rehash?
turn to
That is
a
like the
certain
mo-
age, you're
yeah.
dying and inspiring the hero. That's
yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
but I like having that in there, and I like the kids sort of. He's getting it from both
Right.
generations.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
fun.
You
yeah.
know.
I have to make a symbol for my son, otherwise he's going to grow up like me. You know, for or like just like the rest of my people.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
how about this? This is crazy.
Okay.
Pressure depth.
Ooh,
That
that's.
might, I mean, if you
depth.
saw that in a video store, which doesn't exist, you might think it's a different kind of movie. That sounds like a submarine espionage movie.
Yes.
Yes.
But if depth is in there, but like, because it's also more emotional. So I like depth.
I like it as well. That's what I also like about Passage. I'm trying to glue those together, and I'm like,
Maybe a title that
Passage
like
depth.
is all about the surf. Maybe like a title that kind of gets across the going the surface. Maybe we call it Up. How do you guys feel about that?
yeah, I think it's perfect. You know, Surface. I'm
Surface.
not against Surface if we can find a way that have maybe two meanings in there.
What
like
about
that's
Surface of the Deep?
Surface of the Deep? Ooh.
How about the light? They want to take the boat up to the light. They don't know what's up. What
But
the
they
light
don't want to
is.
be up there.
Oh, they know that if they go to the top, they're dead.
Well,
That's true, but
I'm
we
not
also talk about the light to heaven.
I'm not sure whether
People
they
refer
know
to that
that
as the light.
or not. I'm not sure how much they know about. Probably they have a pretty good sense of who they are. Like
Have
we
they
know
ever
that.
been out? Like, have we never seen them? Well, so if it's the distant future, we don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're at least as aware of what happens if you go out of the water as we are of what happens if we go in for too long.
Yes.
I think they're aware.
Yeah.
So they want to stay pretty low. What
think
about
so.
stay low?
Stay low.
Stay low. That sounds like kind of like
Stay low.
another like rapper pipe.
Ba-
Like stay
basketball,
low. Yeah.
basketball.
Hey, did you see
dance
Stay
movie.
Low? What's it about? Well,
Let me tell you. Have you seen Titanic?
Stay Low. That sounds
Stay
cool. Is that
low.
like a sexy dance movie? Kinda. We open on an underwater society.
Think Shape of Water, but without the dick.
Shape of Water. I don't think I like it anymore without the dick. Yeah. Oh my god.
Cool. Well, I mean, I feel good that there's a title in there.
There's a
think there
title in there
is.
somewhere. Yeah.
All right,
One of those
so
options is great.
I think it's time to move on to our third and final pitch.
Ooh, baby.
Oh. So, this movie is in the same universe. It's same characters. We're bringing back Kate Winslet.
Same universe as mine.
Oh no! I think that's in a league of its own. Maybe
That's
specifically
in the
like
league of their
5,000
own
leagues under the
universe.
sea. Yeah, that league specifically.
Ah, nice one.
But basically, our film opens up exactly where Titanic leaves off. We see Rose. She throws the heart of the ocean in the water, and then all of a sudden, she literally closes her eyes, and we see her with Leonardo DiCaprio. And we have that moment. Remember where they walked down the
Yeah.
staircase to meet each other,
Right.
And then what happens is she wakes up because a lot of people think she's dead. They think she dies at the end, but she's not dead. She wakes up, and she gets up the next day. And she's like, all right, this has been really fun. I'm happy I was, able to tell you the story. And like, man, when are we going to find the heart of the ocean? She goes back to her house and she's there.
This is the old Rose.
This is the old Rose.
Okay.
Old Rose is there. She's sitting there. She's kind of sad. And those guys are like, man, we're never, ever going to find that heart of the ocean. And they're like, oh, we found some other stuff from there. We found some blocks of ice down there and some other shit down there. It's like, okay, it's like they're excavating still, right? They're still going on. So Rose is back home And then she's there, and this sort of detective shows up, another sort of like oceanographer kind of guy, and says, "Hey, I want to ask you about that boat trip you were on that was a disaster." She's like, "I've already talked about that."
Which one?
Exactly. She says.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Exactly. No, she's like, the guy's like, "I've already talked about Titanic." It's like, "No, I want to talk about the Lusitania."
What?
And now it's like, holy shit, she was also on the Lusitania as well.
Okay.
So then she's like, "Okay, let me tell you that story." And the guy's like, "I'm also looking for the heart of the ocean." So now we're on the Lusitania. And Rose now, it's a reverse sort of flip. So now she's like the peasant class because she took on Jack's name.
Yes.
She's Rose Dawson, no longer Rose, Downton Abbey or whatever. So now she's like, she's on the ship and she's in the lower class, and she's still got the heart of the ocean with her, right? Because that's what she's got. And she's hanging out there, and she's kind of like, I've been on a boat before, and people are kind of like, hope this isn't like the Titanic. She's like, me neither, thank God's Lusitania. And they're on this boat, and she falls in love with this upper class man who's like kind of like, oh, this is interesting. So now we have a reverse sort of like dynamic. He's like, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to be what you're in. And they basically kind of like, hit it off, and we have like, we had a sex scene in a car. Like this time they had like sex in the smokestack, I think. Somehow, like it's very ashy and kind of like
very vertical.
Yeah, very vertical.
Very vertical.
And basically, they get around to talking, and he says, he's like, the heart of the ocean was so interesting about the Titanic. She's like, actually, I'll tell you a secret. I have it. And he's like, oh my God, I had no idea. And he's like, we have to protect it. There's people after that piece of diamond, right? And he's like, okay, that's really bizarre. And basically, they keep going on. And then one day, like, they're down there, and the guy shows up, and he's like, I want to introduce my brother. And it's fucking Cal, her ex-husband, her ex-fiance. Turns out they're brothers, and they've been looking for the heart of the ocean. And this has been like, a huge problem all along. And basically, like, the guy makes a phone call. He's like, I need to make a couple phone calls. And like, you see Callie's on the phone. He's like, yes, we need to do this right now. We need to do this right now. And what you find out is that he's like, I don't understand why you guys want this diamond. I don't know what it's worth. And they think, oh, you think it's worth money? No. They pull out this like technological device, put in the diamond, and shoot like a laser beam. Like it literally explodes the wall. And they're like, oh my God, like this is amazing. She's like, this is not a diamond.
It's a Mr. Freeze
type
laser
of
cannon.
Laser cannon. They're like, oh my God. And the only thing that can literally keep this gun powered is the heart of the ocean. She's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And then so she's like, I got to get some help. And then essentially that phone call he made was to the Germans, and they said, we need to blow up the ship immediately. We need to get this heart of the ocean, because the Nazis, not the Nazis yet, but like they're going to become Nazis. They're going to want to have this heart of the ocean. So basically she escapes, and the ship goes down again. But this time she's learned a lesson. So when the ship's going down, they're like, get the lifeboats. She's like, we don't need lifeboats. Take down all the doors on the ship. Take them down right now. Go get them down. Build rafts out of them. Like, you're so goddamn smart. So she gets to build the rafts. At the very end, she literally is with the guy. Is like, Cal's brother. Is like, you don't have to be evil. You don't have to do this whole thing. And he's like, no. I was born this way. And he lets go, not because because like he wants her to survive. He lets go because he's like, I'd rather be dead than like live a good life. He's evil as well. He's just kind of all.
He's hanging on to what? What is he?
Hanging on to a side of a door again.
Oh, right.
But this time we let him go. He's like, I want to die.
Oh, so he's doing instead of the never let go.
No, he's like, I'm gonna let go.
He's
like, I'm gonna let go. Yeah.
He's bobbing in the water.
Wow. And so Rose survives. And now we're back in the present. And we also, by the way, we've been like cutting back of like the same thing, kind of like, I want to get the whole skinny on the Lusitania. She's like, yeah, it's gone in the ocean. And then basically he's like, well, I found it. And he like reaches in his pocket and is like, we got it. And your story is I'm the only one who knows this. And he kills Rose, this detective. And he's like, I'm gonna take this heart of the ocean to like the superpowered people on this Carnival cruise. That is now going to go, like, there's a Carnival, like the one that like kind of capsized. I'm going to go on there. But at the same time, the people who are excavating the Titanic have found a chunk of ice, and they've been able to find a man frozen inside the ice. And they excavate it, and it's Jack Dawson. And he says, what year is it? Where's Rose?
Oh my God.
And it's like, she's dead.
You did a
But the
Captain
heart of the
America.
ocean is on its way. Again, you have to stop the Carnival. We have to like crash the Carnival cruise essentially, or stop it from getting to the super bad people.
Wow, that's
and that's the film.
That's a fucking flick right there.
Yeah, that's another 3 hour, 15-minute
That's
mamma
a
jamma
movie.
Yeah, it's Lusitania, and then the
Holy
third one
hell.
would be the Carnival Cruise in the modern day.
I thought you were going where she would survive this adventure, and the third one would be the Hindenburg. That's what I thought the
that-
third one would be.
I toyed around with
there
so
were
many.
already like
yeah.
Germans. We were already kind of headed there.
Yeah.
We have to take it to modern day. If we're gonna do a third one,
She has been in every major disaster until 1997.
What is up with her?
yeah, she's
Why
just got
is
really
she
bad
such
luck.
a-
She's got bad
Yeah,
luck.
and because we've determined that Kate Winslet doesn't age, she could still always play
Play
Yeah.
that character,
that
right?
character in all
But
those
this time
stories.
it's a reversal. Now she's in the lower class and she's trying to help someone who was like her.
I love that.
But it's Billy Zane's brother, and Billy Zane's also
And I love that
apparently
there's
he's
like
also in
I
every
love there's
single one.
international espionage and stuff. That,
Yeah.
we should take the mythology of Titanic and we should take it on a journey. And each we should just follow Rose has had an amazing life, and it was only hinted at in those pictures.
Yeah.
Each one of
She's
those
on a
pictures is a whole
camel.
movie,
A
baby.
whole, there you go.
Each one of those pictures is
Yeah.
a movie.
How'd
Yeah.
you get on that camel? I think it's a camel, right?
I mean, maybe that one's
Who
not a whole-
knows? Yeah. But yeah, and it kicks off. The next one, obviously, we Jack, on the Carnival cruise. I don't think that he
So
causes
he's-
that to crash. Like, this is the one that capsized.
So he's seeking revenge for the murder of his.
Wait, are we on
but
the-
he doesn't know that yet.
Are we on
what's
the
he going
third
after?
movie
He's
now?
going after the heart of the ocean
Why does he care
because
about
Billy Zane's
that?
grandson. But then like the big reveal is like he's like, I'm not going to do it. End of Act 1, the third one, and he's like, it's about Rose. Like, where is she? It's like cut to him on the ship. Like he finds out she's dead. and
Okay.
that's what convinces him to go on the Carnival cruise.
Oh, okay. And that's the third movie.
Right. He also has no idea. He's been like gone for several years.
Yeah, what I
There's wacky scenes of him
And,
getting up to date
yeah.
with 1997.
Oh, those
what's
are fun.
AOL.
Those are fun.
You've got mail.
I like that.
And unlike Captain America, he doesn't have super strength. He's actually very sick. Like he's not been vaccinated for anything. Like he's
He's
very
got a shit
yeah,
immune
yeah, yeah.
system.
he has
exactly.
the polio that he
Yeah.
had when he went on board
Toward
the Titanic.
yeah. And he's just like, it's very bad. Like he's not super powered by any
That is
means.
so
yeah.
funny.
But he's on this ship and he's just gotta help her.
How would he fit in though? What were things in 1997 that we could see how he was different, but
Well,
what
this
are
is-
fun ways we could see how he would fit right in 1997?
I think he'd be like, those Germans, I hope they don't start a war with us. Like, buddy, we had two. He's like, holy shit. Like,
Did we win?
I don't know.
Did we beat him? Yeah, I'm thinking of like dancing.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm
Well,
thinking
you
of.
know what? The jig never goes out
The
of style.
jig never goes out
Never.
of style.
People are still doing it.
Yeah. So
at
if
the-
we went to
you-
like Lollapalooza
Oh, that's
and
great.
did the jig
Yeah,
at
it's like
Lollapalooza.
it's like what is it? Like Rage Against the Machine is up there and he's
It was like
Doing the jig.
Does he? I'm the king of the world when he gets to the Carnival Cruise line.
I think
Yeah.
he's like, I think he gets in there. He's really happy. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what his catchphrase is in that sort of situation.
Does he learn Photoshop?
I think he's
instead
like,
of
I miss
sketching
my.
with a
I think his
pencil?
thing is, I miss my dead girlfriend. That's kind of like what he says.
yeah.
on the
Yeah, what
ship.
is he drawing now and what is he like turned off to naked?
I got it. I got it.
Oh, you got
He's got some sort of thing from the ice where he can't draw now. He's got like a little
Oh,
quake.
Oh.
It
in
took
his
away
hand.
the one thing.
All he's trying to do is recreate that image of Rose. Like he just keeps trying to draw it from memory, and he just
But
can't.
it looks like a furry
It
sort
looks
of-
like an Ewok. It looks like a naked Ewok because he just can't. His hand can't settle. And some days it's good, and he can almost get her face, and then his hand starts up again.
I think he's
how
on the
he-
Carnival Cruise. He's like, have you seen this woman? It's like, I've not seen Ewok with two breasts walking around here. Yeah.
And then an Ewok with two breasts passes by.
I've
with a
seen
towel in
one,
the
but
background.
not two. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's walking around the ship with this thing.
There's
Well-
a whole other movie. They're like, somebody knows you're here.
Yeah, stop. Yeah. And then like Bill Plummer is playing Billy Zane. He's like, oh, I'm still around. It's like he's in a wheelchair. It's like kind of the big confrontation.
Yeah, he never. Yeah.
Two feeble men who
Yeah.
are just very messed up.
battling each
Well,
other.
so is
Yeah.
eventually is he going to find the piece that allows him to calm the quaver in his hand?
Yeah, he would need to
think
find
so,
something
right?
that gives him that finally makes his hand steady, so that he finally needs to. Well, he needs to die and join Rose. They need to have
Yeah.
the ending of the first movie again
That's
for
the
him.
moment when his hand stops
He
shaking.
needs
when he
to. Yeah,
dies.
yeah. When somebody's holding it, maybe her daughter,
Oh,
her
Ooh,
daughter from
yeah.
the movie that accompanies her in the first movie. Maybe she's by his bedside, his hand's shaking, and then it finally goes still,
Mm.
and then.
He closes
that sounds
eyes.
like put a
Put
little love in your heart. Whatever
I was
that.
like, that's an interesting soundtrack choice.
And then Bill Murray talks directly to the audience. He goes, just the left side of the audience, everybody. Just the left side of the audience.
I also think it's
Scrooge,
rated
Trevor.
like PG-13 or something like that. And like at the very end, he dies. And this is the third one, of course. It's like,
Yeah.
and like his hand goes still. We flash to him, and he's like, and it's Rose, and she's like, draw me naked. It's like, yeah. And he's like, actually, I think we can go on a boat ride. He's like, fuck no. And then the movie's over. It's like, he's
And
like,
he goes, next time, let's take the bus.
yeah.
And
and Jack's like, what is a bus?
And then Iris is out on his
What is a bus?
You mean
Yeah.
a gigantic ocean
Oh,
liner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A ship with wheels.
It was the original Titanic movie rated R
It was.
just for nudity,
what?
right? There's
that
so much.
blows my mind.
There's
No,
a
yeah, for
good
the
amount of
nudity.
boobs.
How did I see
Yeah.
it? That's impossible. That's impossible. I will owe you something if it's
Oh,
rated
I
R.
just typed
Oh my
into
God,
Google
this is
Titanic
great.
rated R, and the first thing comes up is how is the Titanic rated PG-13?
Yeah, there's so. I mean,
because they're like craftily
nudity.
shooting around her
No.
nipple.
No, they
no,
show.
no, no.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
there's
It's
nipple
full
outside
on,
of the picture?
Yes, and it's not just once. It's not just fast.
MPA is so curious. It's so interesting. Well, there's nothing. First of all, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I'm surprised by that because they're so prudish. Otherwise,
no. Our official stance
Show all
on this
the nipples.
podcast is
Show
go
every-
ahead. Yeah.
show everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if
It's
we
cool.
all
We're
have-
naked recording this right now.
It's
Right.
ridiculous to pretend that we're not all naked under these clothes.
Exactly.
That's so ridiculous.
It's terrible.
And to show that is a sin is insane. PG-13 make. Now I'm actually wondering what made a PG-13. I guess there's people getting crushed by smokestacks, and you cannot show nudity in PG,
No.
which I guess
Pixar's tried and failed.
It's probably just because
Yeah.
you don't want to answer questions.
This is
There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody wants to have their kid answering like, why does that look like that? You're like, oh, I don't know. Grow up. You'll figure it
I had
out.
this huge debate with my wife once, and if you'll excuse the tangent, but the question was how to rank the different pieces of anatomy that can appear in a film. Like when a film is being rated, what is the most like, oh my God, to like, okay, yeah, you
Okay,
can
I
show
think
that
starting,
quickly.
Starting from the bottom up, I think, ironically, I think the butt.
Is
I think the butt is accepted in
Es-
I think you can show the butt.
especially for if in comedies.
A good amount of the
like,
crack you could probably show in PG, maybe.
especially if it's sort of whimsical.
Yeah,
Especially that crack belongs to Shrek.
Yeah.
Right,
Fine.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is Shrek without the crack, honestly?
I don't know.
The next one is tough. I mean, a next one is. I guess it's
It's got to be
Like
the
it's
boobs.
boobs,
It
yeah.
has
Yeah.
to
Gotta
be
be
because
boobs.
it can't be.
the other, and then it's. But then the question is,
This is where we get hung up.
Yeah. What comes first?
I really think that it goes that the male genitalia is the thing that is like and that's just because it really wasn't done for like a long time, it feels like.
You're right.
yeah.
You're right. It's messed up. That's
yeah.
what it is. It's
Even
messed up.
like
And
even like
disproportionate.
the church ordering like leaves put on like naked statues.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, people just don't want to see the dick. And
Yeah,
it's not like a great looking thing, but I don't know why
really.
it's last
Unless
on
you're
the
watching The
list.
Shape of Water.
Hello, super dick.
There you go.
I guess the dick is the final
Yeah.
frontier. It's
I
the
think
last
I
thing
think
you
it
can
has to be.
show.
And on a PG-13.
Nobody is showing. Yeah, on a PG-13. I would raise the stakes though. No one's showing butthole
That's right.
Oh no.
outside of maybe Sacha Baron Cohen. Is he showing butthole?
I don't think so.
The question is, when is he not showing butthole? I feel like in This Is America or Who's America,
He
did
has a
butthole.
singing.
God.
He has a singing penis in
really.
Bruno, right?
Right, he does. He has got a singing
And you
penis in Bruno.
see-
Yeah.
And you see like
You see it
the
all.
mouth, like
Oh
the
come
tip
on,
opening.
man! I haven't watched any of
Yeah,
those
just
movies.
flipping the
and-
table,
Oh,
It's
my
high art.
God.
and I don't. I want. He's probably there's probably butthole in Borat where he's wrestling with his
Oh, with Asimov.
creative
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Somebody write in and let us know if you've ever
Is there
seen a
butthole
butthole,
in
in a movie.
And please tell me the time code just so I can see.
and if
Yeah,
there
just so we
is,
can
I bet it's
check,
accidental.
so we can
I bet
check.
it's. I bet it's accidental. I bet it's not like.
How do you accidentally show a butthole?
You have to go through a lot of
come on.
effort to do that.
Yeah, that's-
One of your listeners will write in.
Yeah,
We'll
let
find
us
out.
know.
Yeah, let us know.
So back to the pitch. I personally like it. I think I feel like it's really epic.
Yeah, we have to go the full
it's
scope.
got
A
And it-
big scope, yeah.
Yeah.
It's big scope. I think it needs to be shot in IMAX. We
I think
have
it-
to have
yeah.
that
Is this a
happen.
Nolan movie, or is
Oh,
Cameron
that's
gonna...
good. I think I always imagine Jim coming back to the director's
Well, of
chair.
course you're imagining that.
Because
but
I'm
you
also
can't
seeing like
get him.
Dunkirk vibes with this. This is like
Yeah.
World War
Yeah.
One, floundering in the water, like Lusitania.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he could do
it
a
could
number
work
on
as
this
that
one.
too. But if Jim,
Hey,
wanted to take a break from the Na'vi.
He's
for
got the
a
first
couple
right of
years.
refusal, sadly. You know,
Of course.
but-
Yeah. I mean, and that's how it should be.
I think Nolan could do a number on this. Though.
He owns the story of the Titanic. He earned that right to tell the story of that, that tragedy that everybody in the world knows. Congratulations, Jim.
Man.
So you want to brand this as and market it as a sequel.
Oh yeah, I think
Okay.
it's like Kate Winslet's coming back.
That's very strong.
And it's like it's really everyone's like Leonardo. It's like no, there's no Leonardo. And then when he shows up, they're like,
Boom.
So it's like a
shit.
Matt Damon
Shit.
in Interstellar.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
I
He's
love
unfrozen
that.
from the ice.
Who do you want to see as the role reversal Lusitania upscale guy that she meets?
Billy Zane's brother.
But who, the actor?
You know, that's a great question.
Unless you were saying Billy Zane's
Zane's
brother.
Yeah. You're out there, Jim. Jim
Zane's
Zane. Yeah, I know you exist. I honestly think Luke Evans. You guys seen? He was the Beast to be in the Beast. I think he could play like a convincing,
Okay.
suave man who's actually seedy.
Have you seen the behind-the-scenes pictures of him on the set
Being
before
the
they
Beast.
made him the Beast?
It is the most unglamorous. Like it's like they went out of their way to make his
ridiculous.
CGI suit bad. Like it's like he's wearing like still some.
Yeah, the
proof
fact
that Emma
Watson had
Watson's
to, like,
perfect.
Stare
Yeah.
at him and still gives a good.
He'd be like, "I
performance.
love you." Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You look
Ridiculous.
He looks like he's like a mascot is halfway undressed at halftime.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like. He looks like he just took off parts of it at like a shitty college
my
basketball.
God.
Someone there's like a tiger head. He's like, "Get out there!" He's like, "I'm coming. I'm coming."
And he's like, "You said you were gonna cut air holes."
Yeah, your contract says 3 dunks. It's like I do what I want. Yeah,
It's Will Ferrell through the flaming hoop.
Yeah.
Like old school.
it
His
is.
agent did him dirty by letting that get out there.
Did him real dirty.
You gotta
Yeah.
keep-
Burn those photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Evans is
Yeah, it's
okay.
going-
Okay, he
Who else
needs to
could we?
redeem
I
himself.
think we could find someone else for that role. I mean,
Well, what's the fate of this guy again? He lets himself go, right?
she tries to save him with the power of love, the same way that Jack saved her, but
So
ultimately he
you need
rejects
to,
it.
Since you're leading them into thinking there's not going to be a Leo, you need a Leo-esque,
yes.
like a new gen.
Okay,
Jen.
sure.
But also,
Oh.
it's Kate Winslet.
Oh,
who,
it's
so is it
Timothy
I think it's
Chalamet.
Well, I'm wondering if since it's Kate Winslet, maybe is it a more mature love story? Is it like a Kate Winslet current age appropriate?
Like a May, September.
Well, actually no,
type
because
of
we have to operate on the
May,
assumption
December?
that Rose is still 18, like 21. The Lusitania was
Right.
like 4 years later, 3 years later.
I have no idea.
It
Oh,
wasn't. that long
it's
ago.
only 3 years later, so
Oh,
she's
just
roughly
3
the same
years.
age.
So
Yeah,
she's very,
roughly,
very young.
Yeah,
So-
she's very young.
If we go with Kate Winslet still, which I still think we can,
I
we
think
have
so.
to get Timothy Chalamet.
I think Timothy Chalamet is like
We
he's the
gotta
young
get
like listen man, like you have everything and they have an affair or whatever.
Oh man, yeah. He could-
Oh god, it has to be Timothy, and it's
yeah,
heartbreaking at the
he's
end when
got
he's like,
those
"I'm letting
searing
go,"
looks
because
and-
yeah.
This is good.
I just
though.
like that men keep dying on. She keeps seeing men die on top of doors in the water.
yeah,
yeah.
It's bad luck,
It's a very
definitely.
specific set of circumstances.
But this is the kind of hard detail that helps sell a picture.
As a
That's right.
writer, if there are any writers out there, do this with your scripts. Hash it out the same way we've done it here. Talk through the possibilities. Because everything we arrived at today is completely backed up by stakes and logic.
It's
and
true.
Are soundproof stories.
Yep.
You poke this
is-
like this Jenga pile, it's not going to move.
No,
This is how the
no.
sausage
We
is
worked out
made,
all
people.
We worked out all the kinks.
All screenplays are written by committee
On
over
podcast.
podcast.
All right, guys. Well, I think that this was a lot of fun. I hope
Yes.
that people enjoy listening to it.
yeah.
And I mean, any final thoughts about which way, if we had to choose one, both for marketability
I would
and
say for franchise potential, I'm going with AJ's pitch.
I think I'm going with AJ's as well. I feel like it's just got a lot of different
It's
places to
strong.
go. And
Call me the money man, but I'm thinking third movie. I'm thinking.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
always looking ahead to that.
It's just the boat crashes. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The third movie is just Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Vin Diesel,
Where the cruise ship is out of control.
yeah. Or that movie Speed with Wait, is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
No, with Sandra Bullock. Yeah, where it's like
Keanu
the bus
Reeves.
stops,
Is it
it'll
Keanu
explode.
Yeah,
Reeves?
Speed 2
Yes.
is the sequel.
Oh, Speed 2.
It's
They
just
Yeah.
it's a cruise ship in the ocean. And
Oh my!
the cruise ship can't slow
stop.
down.
That's amazing. Oh my god, that's
And it's
incredible.
insane, yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch
I like
that.
both your pitches, guys. I
Thanks.
I think that like yours, we didn't say it, but it's like There Will Be Blood, almost kind of in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got that
It felt
vibe.
Very
classic.
good.
It felt
Yeah.
classic.
way to look at it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps.
Yeah.
But like in the best way. And Kevin, I can't like the idea of like an underwater community is just so out there and interesting, and there's so many things about those people I need to know.
Yeah.
What else is down there?
I just want to see the scene where he's sitting at the bar in the underwater community.
Absolutely.
drinking.
Yeah.
I want to see how that looks.
Yeah. How,
I don't know what that looks like.
maybe
I'm picturing like Top Secret, like the Val Kilmer movie where they have a full
Yes.
underwater fight
Oh,
in the saloon
yes.
underwater.
Oh,
Yeah.
I imagine the bartender's like, I got your food here, and just like takes like little like cylinder and like puts some flakes, and they just have to eat it
Oh,
really
that's
fast, and then they just like
that's
you know,
perfect.
and then they
That's
go
really
back.
funny.
Yeah,
They're eating little fish
little
flakes.
fish flakes. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's great. Yeah.
That is great. Okay, guys, thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
in,
me.
man.
This was so
Mark,
much fun.
thank you for
I
coming
had a
on. This
blast.
was so much fun.
This was great.
All right,
Yeah.
and we will talk to you next time.
Yeah.
We hope.
We hope. Let us know what film deserves a sequel. We need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Pitch it.